Hi, welcome to Perri Pierre Podcast. This is our fourth episode. Our guest today is actor Michael Clark. He's also a very dear friend of mine. So, Michael, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, and these tough times, man. But I'm good.
Yeah. So, Michael, you grew up on the East Coast. You grew up in Atlanta, and then
Yeah.
eventually you moved to LA. Did you move to LA because you wanted to pursue your career as an actor, or you moved to LA for other reasons?
It was mainly to pursue acting. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just because it wasn't. Atlanta's like it's booming now, but it wasn't really much going on
Hmm.
a few years back. So I was like, I'm gonna go to. It's other than like theater and independent film and stuff. So I was like, I'm further my career and go to LA and see what happens.
Oh, okay, wow. Okay, so when was it that your passion for acting started?
I don't know. When I was a kid, I would always watch shows and just imagine myself being on these shows or in films or whatnot. Uh,
Hmm.
but really, I started really pursuing it, you know, uh, just around uh, when I was getting out of high school, around college time, just trying to do some community theater and stuff like that, you know.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
I figured, theater is the way if you really want to learn to do it and work it, you got to jump into theater.
Yeah, I know, I know. Usually, like a lot of actors, when they've done theater before, you could see the difference when they're
Hmm.
doing films and stuff like that. So let's talk about agents. So when you moved to LA, did you already have an agent, or was it when you moved to LA that you got your first agent? I mean, I know
Yeah,
you've had like a few from since then, but yeah, how'd you get your first one?
yeah. I didn't have an agent when I got out here. There was somebody I worked with in Atlanta, but they had no connections out here. So I got out
Hmm.
here. I had to just do a whole bunch of I did a bunch of mailings and stuff. Back when you had to mail a bunch of, you couldn't email people. You had to mail headshot. I did a bunch of mailings, but ultimately what I ended up doing was for the first agent I got, I did a
Hmm.
showcase. So I had to pay
Oh,
money
okay. Right,
to be
right.
in a showcase, and then these agents and managers would come out and
Hmm.
see you, and then if somebody liked you, they contact you or whatever. So that's
Yeah.
how I got my first
Your
agent.
first agent.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know like quite a few people that actually got their agent, the same route, like they went to showcases and whatnot.
yeah,
So, to the inspiring actors out there, if you want to try to get an agent, try to showcase. But I have to say you helped me a lot in, trying to help me get an agent. The
yeah,
first thing you did when I was moving to LA, I remember you put me down as a reference for your agent and also for your manager. I've always appreciated that because there was like there was a lot of people that I knew in LA, and when I asked them, they kind of like give me a bunch of excuses. But for you, it was like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. Yeah, you were like, sure, man, no problem. So I was like, wow, that's amazing. But the second thing you did, I remember January 2017, you picked me up, and then I was talking to you. I was like, yeah, your agent wasn't getting any new talent, and then your manager, I think they were under reconstruction or whatever, the office or whatever. And then I
yeah,
told you, and then you said, well, you should try to find a book called Actors Guide to Agents. This is the
yeah,
book. I
yeah.
still have it.
Oh, you
And
still
then
got that far?
yeah. So you said you should try to buy it, and you told me it's somewhere on Melrose at the Samuel's French
Yeah,
place.
they're closed now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they closed. So what I did, I bought the book, and then one weekend I sat down. I contacted every single agent, in LA, every single one. I was like, you know what? If I contact all of them, at least I'm gonna know that
yeah.
my job is done. So that's how I was able to get an agent. So thank you for that.
Oh, for
So
sure,
now
man.
yeah. So I know you are also a filmmaker. Was the filmmaking part of things? Did it come up because you wanted to actually kind of like wanted to create your own stuff? Is that how it happened?
Yeah, I always had stories in my head and stuff, but you know, uh, and I wanted to get it out, and but I also wanted to act too. And I was like, well, if I just combine the two and figure it out, maybe I can create some stuff for me to act in. And then it just morphed into just like, it turned into its own thing when we just, want to tell stories regardless, and having
Right.
more ideas to do it,
Right.
So that's just kind of where, I mean, I remember shooting like a little short film, something I wrote back in the day in Atlanta. And like, I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm able to act in it and stuff, give myself opportunities. But then I just had all these stories. I was like, you know what? I just going to just try to tell these stories and see where it goes, regardless of, me being in it or not, just kind of getting these stories out. I mean, ultimately, yeah, I do want to be in them, but
Right, of
it's
course.
like, if I got stories and I practice and continue to write and get better, then I'm just going to get them out,
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah.
So you and I, obviously we met at a film festival back in
Yep.
2011. I had my first film was being screened there, G12, and then you had
The Parallax Parallel.
Exactly, you had your film there, and then later on, both of our films were part of the S.E. Manley shorts. Remember?
Yeah.
But did you know that Ryan Coogler had a film there too?
I didn't know that.
Yes,
he did?
yes,
Wow.
yes. So let me tell you,
Did you meet him? Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't go to the
You
second
didn't know?
one. I didn't go to the S.E. Manley short. But what happened was, I was looking at the remember, like, what's his name, Sir John? He would send out emails to all the filmmakers, right?
Yeah.
And then one day I was looking at all those emails and all the contacts. Obviously I saw your name and whatnot, and then I saw Ryan Coogler. And then that's when I Googled, S.E. Manley shorts, and then, whatever. And then I saw he actually had a short film there back in 2011. Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. And that's before he did
that was
the
before
movie up at
Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
He was still doing he was a short at the time. It was 2011, was a short. And I think probably afterwards he went on and, did Fruitvale Station. And, after that, from there, it was just anyway. But okay, so I want to talk a little bit about commercials. Obviously, I would say, you're one of the masters of commercials. You've been casting many.
I don't know about that, but
you've been casting many commercials before, including, for Geico, for your university. What was it doing?
University of Phoenix.
Yeah, University of Phoenix and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what would you say are some of the best techniques when you go to a commercial audition?
I guess just for any audition, really, the first thing is just kind of be super relaxed. Don't go in there overthinking, trying to figure out if, if they're going to like you, how they're going to do it, and all these different things. So because when you go in, they're going to give you an explanation. They're going to say, hey, we want to do it like this. We want you to do it like that. So basically just be relaxed and be open for whatever they tell you to do. So you can just do it.
Right.
Because you most of the time you don't get the script ahead of time.
Right.
You get the script when you walk into the casting office. You look at it and they're like, you look at it for a few minutes. And they call you in. Whatever idea you had about it in the first place, they're going to tell you, hey, we want you to do this, we want you to do this, we want you to do this. Mm-hmm. So basically, the only thing is, I would say, just be relaxed and be open to be able to do whatever they ask you to do, and not get in your own head about how you planned it out or if you're going to do it right, if you're going to do this, da 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 da. Just be relaxed and open. They tell you to do it, just do it.
Right. Exactly.
And do it the best you can, and obviously they give you room to give your own spin on it, be interesting, but usually it's really short and you might even have dialogue. So you just got to be really in tune to what they say and give them what they want, what they ask for.
Right. Yeah. I'd say so too. So, and then obviously you were casting in the Geico commercial about the camel, Mike, which was really, very popular commercial, very
it's huge,
very liked all over the US. So how did that process go? I mean, obviously you auditioned, got a call back, and then you got cast, but how was it? Like, how did you even start?
I mean, I just, it was an audition just like any other audition. It was like they called me, agents like, hey, you got an audition for this Geico thing. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I mean, it was good to have an audition. I don't mean like that, but I mean, it was just like, okay, it's this audition. So I showed up and we went in there. They brought us a bunch of people in, 3-4 people that they grouped us together. And, we didn't have much dialogue, just the camera guy off camera reading the lines, and we just reacting to it. And it was just kind of a natural thing just to react to being irritated by this guy in the office bothering, you know. And then after that, I mean, I didn't think too much about it because another thing about these auditions, like, you don't want to keep thinking about it afterwards. You know, you don't want to keep thinking, oh, did I do this right? Did I do that? Because you don't know. You just do the best you can. You don't know what they're going to like, what they want. You know, if you know you did the best you can, then you got to let it go because there's so many factors involved in getting cast. Anyway, so I left, and then a couple of days later, they called me with a callback. What was weird was I couldn't make the original callback. I had promised I was working this day job at the time, and I had promised somebody that I would work that day for them. And it was I couldn't get out of it, and I was just like, oh, my agent was like, because I didn't, you know, you don't know how big a commercial is going to be. I mean, yeah, you want to get the job, but at the same time, it's like you got to pay your bills, you got to do other stuff. So I was like, well, I can't get out of this thing. I can't make it. She was like, what? You can't make it? Then my manager called, well, you can't make it today. They called my manager, and so my agent called, you can't make it. I was like, I can't make it. I made a promise to these people, this person. I can't make it. I'm sorry. And then they called me back. It was like, all right, well, they're having a second day of callbacks for this other thing, and they said they could still see you. I was like, all right.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a blessing. It was like, because certain times you have to make a decision about life that has nothing to do with that, you know. It's like you just got to sometimes you have to do the right thing about other things. So I don't know, I showed up, went to the callback, and you know, I got it.
Wow. And how was it like on set? Like, was it like a 1-day shoot, a 2-day shoot? Like,
yeah, it was a 1-day shoot at this office building somewhere, you know, outside of the city. They had a real camel on set, walking with handlers walking down the office aisle, and you know, they had the guy off camera doing the voice. And you know, none of us knew that it was going to be big. It was just like, it was a cool commercial. It seemed cool, and we were all happy and blessed to be working. But it's like, you know, it was a 1-day shoot, and nobody knew that anything, you know, was going to be big. You know, it'd be like any other Geico commercial, plays a little while and goes away. But
that one lasted a minute.
Yeah, it just took. I mean, they renewed it last year and played it just as much as they played it, you know, 7 years ago, which was trippy. I mean, it was good for me.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I mean, I just hope they keep on renewing it, man. Like, you know, I want to be 50, 60 and watching this commercial still. You know,
I hope so, man. I mean, we even had a spinoff in the movie theater. I don't know if you saw it when they did.
I saw the spinoff. The spinoff was actually really funny too. But I think one of the good lessons about this is kind of like, you know, to be able to let go after you go to an audition. Like me personally, I've gone to auditions and I'm like, oh my God, I mean, I should have said this like this or instead of like that, you know, and I keep thinking about it for like 2, 3, 4 hours instead of just letting it go. But sometimes the commercials that I think I did really well, I don't get a call back from.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then the ones that I'm like, oh my God, I kind of messed it up. And then boom, I get an email, you know, I call back in 2, 3 days. I'm like, what?
Oh, that just shows you that you just don't know what they're going to want. You know, if you went in there and you felt like, it's hard to let it go if you felt like you didn't do your best, you know, that you didn't give it your all, then yeah, it's harder to let go. But you go in and you did it, but you're like, I don't know if I you know, maybe I should have said it this way, maybe I should, whatever. That's irrelevant, because I've seen commercials I didn't get, and I look at who they cast, I'm like, that person is the complete opposite of me.
Right.
It's like, because so clearly a lot of times they don't really know what they want exactly until they see it, and you think, you know, they'll cast somebody that's complete opposite of you. Sounds like you, different race, whatever it is, you know, big fro. It's like, so that's another reason why you got to just let it go, because there's so many factors involved that have nothing. All you can control is what you do. Everything. There's so many other factors that have nothing to do with you. I mean, even the director doesn't have the full, especially with commercials, doesn't have full say. It's the agency, ad agency, and the company that they're representing. They all have a say in who they want to represent, you know, the product. So there's so many factors you can't control that you'll drive yourself crazy if you try to, like, you know, overthink it and keep thinking about it, because you don't have any control over. All you can control is your performance. After that, nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, so for the people that don't know, like, so basically for commercials, you know how it goes. You go to an audition, obviously the first one, and then there's a casting director inside of it. And usually, I mean, if you get a call back and then at the callback, there would be the casting director, the same person, and then there would be like the director, the person who's going to direct the commercial, and then there's going to be somebody from the company. Like if the commercial is for McDonald's, there's going to be somebody from McDonald's, and then there's going to be somebody from the ad agency that's gonna do the whole thing. But yeah, that's usually how it is. So what are some of your favorite actors and actresses? People that you love to watch.
It's a lot of people. I love watching, like if you see them in anything they do, I like to watch. Obviously, I like watching Denzel. He has his own thing. I like watching Morgan Freeman. I like watching Leonardo DiCaprio. I like watching Al Pacino. I like watching Amy Adams. Who else? It's a lot of people I like to watch. I like current people. I mean, there are people who are dead that I like.
Right.
As far as
that's not people right now.
As far as current people, and who's doing some really good stuff. I like. She's really interesting. I like to watch. Is I don't know her name, but she has her own show. She was
Issa Rae. Is it Issa Rae?
No. She was in what was it? Cage. She was in Luke Cage as the cop, but now she has her own show on CBS as like a judge or something. African American actress. I can't remember her name, but she's interesting to watch. So yeah, but there's a lot of different interesting people I like to watch. And
what's your favorite genre?
Genre, I would say. I'd say I go between sci-fi and sort of like.
Yeah, I know you like sci-fi.
I'd say some. I would say sort of mystery dramas, sort of like that. I really used to like. I used to like a lot of rom-coms. I don't really make them.
I know rom-coms are.
They were huge in the '90s, but they don't really make them anymore.
Yeah, man, with like Julia Roberts and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
It was like a whole thing. So so obviously, like you grew up in Atlanta. It's obviously it's a major city. But how was it like moving to LA? Like, were your expectations met? Because I feel like a lot of people, when even if they live in the US, like they feel like, hey, if you live in LA, you live in Hollywood, you live in this and that, it's almost like boom, you're in this circle, like you're always hanging out with celebrities, or you're always meeting celebrities or seeing celebrities. Yeah. So how was it like moving to LA?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember my expectations. I guess I expected things to move faster, things happen, but yeah, it's tough because you got to like figure out. I mean, it's a lot easier now, I would say. Well, the pandemic, but pre-pandemic, I mean, once everything got more digital, it's a lot easier because you have outlets like Actors Access and LA Casting, and you can easily kind of get into sort of submitting and finding agents and stuff like that. But before those platforms were really going, you had to really get out and try to network and meet people. You still got to network now, but you have to really get out and network and find out where people hung out. Where are these actors hanging out? Get headshots to send them out, to mail them. Try to get in people's faces. But to go back to your question, yeah, it was tough because, just like anything, unless you already know somebody here, unless you know celebrities, you're not going to run into any celebrities unless you already know them.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can go to like Studio City and, maybe see somebody in a restaurant or something, but, and then unless you have friends or, actors and they're in a circle and they have things, you're not going to know all that stuff. So it's tough. It's tough to try to find genuine people that are willing to give you information to help you and navigate and all that stuff. So it takes time, and and it can be discouraging if you don't just keep your head down and just kind of keep the faith and keep trying. But it can definitely be discouraging because there's a lot of people out here who aren't interested in helping anybody, and it's hard to find the circles. At the same time, you have to pay your bills. You have to find a place to stay, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, It can definitely
And
be discouraging for a lot.
especially LA is like kind of like expensive. Not kind of. LA is very expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. So it can
Yeah.
definitely be really discouraging when you first get out here, trying to find circles, trying to find right people, trying to find friends, especially if you don't know anybody, you know. So it takes some time, you know. It definitely takes time to navigate and figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing now. Things are global now. You know, I don't know what it'd be like now, but you know, but then it's definitely expectations. You know, you see TV, you see film, you're like, oh, I'll just come out and show up and I'll be on the show. Nah.
I know. Okay, so I have a question. Like you may not want to answer it because you know some people don't want to talk about this, but how do you feel? Like you're an African American, you grew up in the U.S. and you were born in Atlanta or the East Coast, and then you've been acting for a while, you've been getting ready. How do you feel when like a role for like a Black American just literally goes to like a British person, like a Black British, obviously, but a British person? How do you feel about that or the idea? Like, for instance, okay, I don't know if you've seen. Oh my God, I can't remember the movie. Lena Waithe. She had a cop movie last year that came out with.
Was it? It was a cop movie.
It was a cop movie, and then they shot the cop. Yeah, so obviously there was Daniel in it. Daniel from Black Panther and from Get Out. He's British, and the lead actor is also British. So
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that movie. So yeah, how does that make you feel?
I feel like, again, I don't know what the casting process is like for them. I don't know if they're doing it. Like, I do feel like there are a lot of really good Black actors in this country who should have opportunities for those roles.
Right.
But again, I don't know if they're doing it because these people already have a name, or if they're doing it just because they're British and they think they're really good actors.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the casting process is like. Did they reach out to an American actor?
Right.
Like, here's the thing: if they didn't reach out to an American actor at all, and they're not hiring them because they're already stars, then I have a problem with that.
Right.
But if they at least reached out to some American actors who are Black as well, and who are stars, and maybe they turned them down or they weren't interested, then hey, that's just what it is.
Right.
If they're doing it just because of where they're from or whatever, then that's not cool. But again, I don't know the behind the scenes of the casting process. We would have to like research who casted and the director and figure out what that process was like, how they decided on the casting.
Yeah, there is a sketch by Jordan Peele and then Keegan. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but basically the thing goes, they both playing like a Brooklyn gangster, right? Yeah. And then Jordan Peele is supposed to be from Brooklyn, but Keegan is British, but he's playing a Brooklyn person. And then the director, every time he would be like, cut. And then he would go to Jordan Peele and be like, this is not how you do it. And Jordan would be like, I am literally from Brooklyn. This is exactly how you should do it. And then the British guy would be like, whatever. And he would do something. Then the director was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I love it. I think what they were actually trying to tackle in this sketch is like, kind of like that idea that, the fact that you probably have a British accent or you're from, England, that, you are a better actor when, of course, obviously some of them, they went to good schools, in terms of like acting schools, they've done a lot of stuff, they're good, but it's not automatically that.
That's not automatic. I mean? I don't think, and I think when we see a lot of those jobs, like you see, Spider-Man played by a British kid who's
by Tom Holland.
Who's an American character from Brooklyn. We see David Oyelowo, who played Martin Luther King,
right?
Who's an American,
American icon. And that's the thing too. I feel like, especially because you could just play someone from Brooklyn. Okay, that's fine, but if you're playing someone as iconic as Martin Luther King, I feel like there should be more to it.
I think that certain actors that come from certain places have an innate connection to that place. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, just like if I was to play a British character that grew up in, you know,
In London,
certain
you
part,
know?
certain part of London, in the
Yeah.
slums of London somewhere, a British African American or whatever, or I mean, a British American character, Black American, Black character. You know, I would have to do research, and I would have to do the accent and all that stuff. And you know, and a good actor can pull it off, but I'm sure someone who grew up there, who is an actor as well, and maybe has the same skills, they would have a little something extra, maybe a little subtle thing, a connection to that area. But I mean, again, we don't.
I
we
think
don't know the casting process.
There's Denzel that said something like, you know, there's like a particular smell, you know what I mean, when you're eating a food, or like something else, like when you've experienced it, that you can add to the character, that, or as a director actually, that you can add to the story that another person who's never experienced it before may not be able to do. So yeah. Anyway, if a young person right now from the East Coast is trying to move to LA to pursue acting and stuff like that, what advice would you have for them? Or somebody from anywhere, from Texas, from anywhere, trying to move to LA and pursue a career in acting, what advice would you have for them?
I guess, I don't know, the advice is, with the pandemic now and everything's changing, and things are going to be changing in the industry and stuff. I honestly, I couldn't give them advice now. If it wasn't a pandemic, I could, you know, I mean, I'd tell them, yeah, you know, make sure you find somewhere, make sure you have some income before you do anything else. Unless you're independently wealthy or something, make sure you have some kind of job that you can pay your regular bills before you start trying to, you know, get agents and headshots, yada, yada, yada. Because nobody's going to book something big right out the gate.
Right.
You know? I mean, it's happened. If anything has happened, and it's maybe positive, I'm sure it's happened to someone, but just make sure you have a job and some income, and then so you can live and eat and pay rent or whatever, and then go and do all this stuff. But now with the pandemic, the industry is going to be different, man. I mean, production is going to be different. Audition is going to be different. Everything's going to be, I mean, they're starting to do Zoom meetings and Zoom. I listened to some casting director workshop on SAG Foundation. You know, she casts a lot of big stuff, and they're still preparing for when things do start back up. But they did some Zoom callback audition with an actor they want for a show that she's working on, and I think there's going to be a lot more of that. I mean, we already record auditions, but when it comes to like actually interacting with the casting director and interacting with producers, when you go to callbacks like that, it's gonna be a lot more Zoom stuff, because you just can't get all those people in a room anymore, you know, and act all these people waiting in waiting rooms, yada, yada, yada. So it's just going to be a lot more. So, I mean, if that's the case, you can pretty much be anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
You know,
yeah, that's true. So what legacy do you want to live? You know, when this is all said and done, what do you want to be remembered by?
I want to be remembered by, you know, being able to tell really good stories that people want to see over and over again and think about, you know, and go back to, and just want to be a part of those stories. And that gives people enjoyment, maybe some, you know, enjoyment, entertainment, and feel something, think about something, be a part of those kind of stories. And then you go back to and you say, oh, I want to watch that. I remember that. I remember this character, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you'll also be remembered as someone who's very, very genuine. You know, I feel like maybe LA didn't rub off on you too much. You've kept it very, very, very real. But anyway, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, man. Yeah, be safe out there. Stay healthy with the whole
Will do,
COVID
man.
situation.
You
And
too, man.
yeah, all
And
right.
thanks for letting me be a part of this, man. And congratulations on doing this podcast and everything, man.
Yeah,
I
no
think it's
problem.
good.
Thank you so
Good
much.
thing, man.
Appreciate
You're a
it.
good dude, man. Thank you, man.
All right, no problem.